Matchups here, but it's the Ryan head-to-head that I'm looking at first of all. It's Gator against Super.
And Hawk has taken so much damage early on, but it's actually Glister who goes down first. No Mortality Field available for the Atlanta Reign. Super taking a lot of damage. You're going to see that Immortality Field is also using a defensive Maywall. Comes out from the San Francisco Shock to try and keep this one in it. But again, perfect Maywall placement there from Pelican. Locks out the San Francisco Shock as they try and make their retreat. This is going to block off the teleport, actually. They retreat away. The Atlanta Reign are being chased down, though, and that's Kai missing from the fight now. The teleport, again, that wall, intentional. Trying to block off the teleport so they can't take it behind them. But with the Amp Matrix laid down, Violet free to just pepper them away as well, doing all that damage, just amplified up across the point. It's a quick and 10,000 hours of ranked experience you're witnessing right there, but is it enough to watch this? Troy Hillman, what a neat! He plucks up the Blizzard. A major ultimate that's going to be missing for them, and look at that, Violet. Perfect with the placement of that one. The Immortality Field to save him in the midst of all of it. Super lays down the Shatter. It sets them up nicely for this team fight win. Now Super, 4 HP to his name, is going to go down in the end, traded out as no one's really dealt with Massa this entire time. He's been hanging out the back, and look at this. They're going to be committing the beat into this. They seem to think this is winnable. With FD God falling, it might just be so. Still, that wall does block away Kai from following up on any sort of damage that's being done, and it's really a wasted ultimate. Despite that, the Atlanta Reign still want to take this fight, but with Kai gone, angles that they're looking for, but it's a quick wraparound into the Amp Matrix. Speed boost as well, the wall blocking them. It's going to be a beat. FD God wants to use it to try and save their team. The Immortality Field's also traded out from this one, and what a self-destruct. Hawk just sets it down. The Shock really had no answer for that one. He ended up using a lot of tools at the bridge, but Joy is frozen up. They don't have the speed boost to disengage with FD God going down, but they're still committing the ultimates anyway. In fact, they flipped the point over. They can't approach it. Pelican from the back, they've already lost the 2 players now. Are they going to have to try and commit ults? You're going to hold on to them. You realize the fight's over. They're still going to be making it difficult for them, though, as FD God does come in later into this fight.
That was very cheap, though.
Off to the side, Gator doesn't find anybody else. It's going to be the freeze, and what a shatter from Super. So many players down. It forces out the sound barrier early on, but the Blizzard, it's locked them all up. The Shock, that's such an ultimate disadvantage, it doesn't even matter for them. They work around it. The overtime is going to start ticking, but no one from the Atlanta Reign able to touch that one. What a miraculous series of events for them to be right underneath. They're trying to pinch them at the exact same time, and Troy, he's matched them as well. Right into the off angle, does end up getting taken out of the mech, but not before Gator's taken out as well. With Violet missing, could be dangerous tidings for the San Francisco Shock. Glister's still very powerful. He's got the beam, but no more heals. Both the supports are being taken out from the San Francisco Shock. They don't really have too much more to win this fight out with. If they're able to do it, it would be an absolute miracle for them, but the damage and healing is way better for the Atlanta Reign.
Iris was.
They're investing their own. Massa does have the beat. It starts to get committed, and now everyone is healthy. Gator right off the map. You're joking. 2 players gone. FD God wants to get into the action as well. A couple of environmental kills for them. The Shock are investing even more. They want to try and turn this fight in their favor. They're definitely getting the early pickoffs, and they got the flip of the objective. Not only that, it's time to build up the percentage points as well. They need to get rid of the teleport, which they do so. And this is an awkward...
That's a block of the Shatter. It only catches onto Pelican. Gator has a response.
No way.
He goes for it again! The madman! It's exactly the same!
You have got to be kidding me. Gator just going for that one. Of course, sacrificing himself to take out the main tank. The 1-for-1 trade clearly has a lot of faith in his team to try and clean this up, but it's the Shock with the massive advantage. You can't look at that play and think it was good if you're going to be losing it at the end of the day, but it definitely does say that he's got a lot of confidence on his team to try and clean up.
The stairs.
The wall comes down.
This is still pretty good.
Yeah, the Shock is still going to be taking a lot of damage from this, though. They're split from multiple different angles. Going indoors, giving the Atlanta Reign a lot of space, but with Violet falling.
Great pick.
Yeah, that looks like it should be theirs to take.
And just in the nick of time as well. Atlanta are going to maintain.
In hand for Gator. He wants to try and get the better of his adversary. Drops it down. That is going to be a connection. So at least a few targets there, but the Amp Matrix in response. No more Mentality Field, and look at that Blizzard. Great spacing from them. Pelican able to just drop that one down, and despite FD God able to take away.
FD God's currently getting pressure.
Wait,
they're already back
the supports aren't there. Yeah, the Shock are playing this so quickly. Intelligent from them, knowing that the support line was actually just going to be ferrying them back, and now it's overtime. The Atlanta Reign.
How did they get in that quick?
They might have just lost the one team fight they needed to win. I cannot believe they made that call, but they're just going to dump the ultimates in anyway. It's a last chance for them, but not enough. The San Francisco Shock work their way onto the point as well, waiting for the right timings. It's going to be a quick teleport though from the Shock. They're moving all the way up to the high ground. It's a disengage away from them, and what a collapse. All that damage being done. Hawk, I think, with the accretion as well, just stunning them up as they try to dive onto them. That's the Atlanta Reign with a great response.
They were so ready. It's hard to overstate how ready they were for that. Hawk was on that high ground just as bait.
And it's a unit, but for now, it's playing all over the bloody shop. The Shock and quite low. That's a good block of the Shadow though. Super ready with the reaction times. Gator not going to be getting away with that one. They are slowly winning this one out. Violet's going to end up going down, but with the spawn point at least being so close here for the San Francisco Shock, they are happy to take these even trades in this team fight.
And the Shock didn't even have to use any...
Blizzard actually just dropped down as well at the choke point to try and lock them up. That's going to be a lot of ultimates committed though. The Atlanta Reign still just chucking everything into it. The Blizzard was aided by Choi at the same time of things, but with Nero falling, it's ideal for the Atlanta Reign if they can just keep holding on.
Good shatter!
What a shatter from Super! Completely locks them up. The Atlanta Reign just unable to really participate whatsoever at the tail end of this team fight. A couple of players left standing as well. There are so many mind games that are occurring between both of these teams.
They don't really have any good ults left, so they've got to try and go aggressive. They forced out Immortality Field early.
Oh, Super's in trouble! What a shatter! He drops it down, and it gets them all low. He will trade with his life at the end of the day, but San Francisco Shock more than ready to follow up on what he's just done there.
Super's crazy!
I can't believe that.
He's got another shatter in that team fight, Brent. He's playing so aggressively.
Already almost 2 ticks gained. The Atlanta Reign have got a lot of firepower right now. All the players alive. They chase down Glister, moving over to the Doomfist. It's a bit of a desperation play from them. Hawk now using his self-destruct as well, just so he can try and get back into the mech and back into the fight with Choi going down. On top of it, the Shock really just tossing the bodies into it, but the ultimates just keep coming back up for the Atlanta Reign.
Kai and Iris in particular just continue to do damage and healing throughout it all. This is Glister's second foray in with that Doom. Are the Shock actually turning this?
There's no way.
Violet killed Iris!
There's no way! There's no way they're able to clutch this out! 97.1%. They've got to try and turn this one. It's a charge from Gator. He has the Earth Shatter. They're looking to try and close this one out right here, right now. Pushing him away into the corner. The Earth Shatter, it is a connection onto one, but the Atlanta Reign, they invest that sound barrier into it as well. Still stunned up around the corner. Get it very, very low. Immortality Field dropped into the self-destruct, the teleporter to try and get them back into the action. The Shock, that is a self-destruct kill onto Nero. Coming back in, but the Shock have the spawners. Shield being held. They do not want to give this one up. FD God coming back, and he has the beat, but he dies with it. No beat in action. The turret takes him out. The Atlanta Reign, that one singular play may have just saved them here, and it has. They get the capture. This comp against the Atlanta Reign. Sorry, I should say against the Shanghai Dragons, they were getting chewed up pretty often. With that opening pick onto FD God, the Shock aren't going to have the speed boost now to work around here. Oh my goodness, they're all caught into the corner. The damage coming in, they're also low. Surely the Atlanta Reign just collapse onto them here. They do. Yeah, they're them up.
Pelican's a beast in this defense.
He's onto Massa.
And he already popped Valk.
And the Valkyrie's already popped. More than safe in this scenario. Gravitic Flux from Hawk. It's going to catch all of the players necessary to try and win this one out. And that is going to be the Shock as well, going right back to the drawing board. This zombie comp that they like to play, they were chewed up in the past. You can see Super did commit this Primal Rage. It got Iris, but
is that enough?
Taking another off angle, the duplicate form as well onto the Diva. He's going to be building up that self-destruct so quickly. The beat dropped. FD God, they want to commit into this fight. They want to try and win this one out. And Nero, to be fair to him, hasn't gone down yet. With Gator taken out, they could potentially still win this one yet. Death Blossom in close quarters. That's Hawk removed from the fight. And they're all just kind of locked up indoors. The Shock looked like they found the edge they needed here to win out this fight, but still, yep, getting the attempt to try and push as well.
Glister can get a great EMP in this position.
EMP, Coalescence, everyone jumping onto it. Glister ends up going down. They do get the one, the EMP. Connected onto Gator. It's locked up that one pick at least. Are they going to be able to disrupt any of this though as the Gravitic Flux gets off? It buys space for the res. Gator back into the action, and with Violet down, no more heals for them. Ultimate still committed though. The Shock. It's going to be the Primal Rage used, but Super realized the Shock are already into their spawn side. Flipping it around, positioning wise. Violet taken out though once more. And look at Kai. Just sandwiched in at the spawn door, and the team, of course, are just going to be pincering them as all of this is going on. Hawk's not going to leave his man hanging. They just collapse onto it. The Shock, it feels like with the... Okay, they switch over to the rush combat. These ultimates, it's the Shock's time to re-engage into this. The Amp Matrix dropped down. Pelican could not go anywhere. The flight cooldown, not quite there, just couldn't disengage away from the line of sight angles. FD God is going to be keeping his team alive, but now you see that Gravitic Flux used again. Only onto the one target, it was dropped away. Nero ended up using that ice block, and he is on a high ground position currently. Pelican back into the action though. Might be able to do a bit of damage for them, but at the Shock in this overtime push, they've got all the kills they need. The engagement was clean from them.
Yeah, especially the Ant Matrix. Violet doing so much work in that fight, and they capture it.
Getting quite low as well. Now the Shock looking for something, but Choi, he gets demeched. The Mortality Field dropped as well. The Shock, they're running out of ults to use, or at least the tools on top of it. Drop this Ant Matrix through, but the Atlanta Reign, well, they should win this one out. Kai will get removed from the fight towards the end. Only 13 seconds left for the Shock now to repush this one in. It doesn't look likely they're going to be able to touch this one, and the Atlanta Reign have got enough bodies, especially with that res online, that they do stop them from getting checkpoint A.
But Brent, it might have already been enough. 93.1% is what the Shock are going to end with, and I think that's fabulous.
We've got at least one tick on the board, and there's a better ultimate coming through for them. Are they going to be able to contest this with Nero going down? It doesn't look likely. It's going to be traded. Pelican falling. Still, anyone could turn this. They need a big ultimate for it, but with Violet going down, now Super with the Earth Shadow, he has to find something massive, and it's not going to be the case. Hawk, the Gravitic Flux is perfect. It shuts them out, and they are going to be able to get this final capture and take away the map.
Incredible play from the Atlanta Reign there. Nice adjustment from
the last time I saw Widowmaker get a pick out of the gate. Now I do. I'm definitely going to remember that one. And they are set up to succeed. The Shock, they're going to try and contest this one.
It's all over.
If you lose Violet that early, I mean,
done.
It's done. It is done.
It's done. Not only did they lose Violet, but Gator caught Glisto with an additional piece of spam. His Fire Strike got finished off and got the kill. And so it's an early pick in both of those team fights.
Right over the top of the Blizzard, it pushes them away. They can't swing into it as a result of it, and now they come back in. Massa, the sound barrier is excellent. The Atlanta Reign have got a lot of health to work with. Choi just trying to avoid a lot of their line of sight angles, but look at the DPS go. They're rolling them.
Yeah, it starts out with a pick on Violet. That sound barrier from Massa, earlier than the one on FD God. FD got stilled up,
I believe, completely disjointed it from Nero. Comes back round, what an Earth Shatter into the teleport. 2 players down. It's going to be the counter charge as well that comes through from Gator, but is it enough to try and keep them in this one? Look at all these walls intersecting each other, just cranking 90s all over King's Row. But it is the Shock who win this one. Or is it? The Atlanta Reign still going back in with kills. Massa does take out Super. It does force them now to use this Blizzard. Nero's committing this one, and it does force out the sound barrier once more. Massa about way where he ends up using it. Defensive Ice Wall again, but the freeze comes through. That's going to be Nero just committing his own. Gator so low, swinging away. Along with the Ant Matrix on top of it. Shock. And they probably feel like they can actually take a bit of a breather here as they do win a clean team fight. Through, Ant Matrix on top of it. It's going to force out the beat. FD wants to use it, and the Blizzard does not get a shatter from Gator. Oh my word. What a way to open things up. And a Shock force to just commit ults to try and at least hold on to this one. Simmo, Ant Matrix off into the back, but it's too late, I think. The Atlanta Reign, oh, they got ults to chuck out, they got ults to burn. This card is going to start to get rolled in, and that is going to be 1 minute and 9 seconds. Ready. The battle begins, no time to wait whatsoever. The teams are just clashing straight away. Gator's going to get frozen up here. Pelican and Nero, they trade lives. Taken out in this fight. Gator has to hold the shield here, needs to be careful. And now with that Ant Matrix, that's built up so quickly. That's in the first 30 seconds. You've got to be kidding me, Violet.
He's so good. He's just been able to burn down the Atlanta Reign and moving from teleport to teleport, finding these kills. The tracking's immense as well. Takes down Iris just for the cream on top.
Let's get rid of that teleport for now, but with the positioning swapped around, the Shock might be able to win out an edge on top of this one. Super getting very, very low. Another window drop down. Nero goes down. The Atlanta Reign, they've got a player advantage. Moving into this one, Super, Shatter in hand, has to try and hold the shield to survive, but already locked up once more. That's Pelican's Blizzard doing so much work.
Gorgeous counter Blizzard by Pelican. Nero had already thrown his in earlier.
I think just trying to survive, they flip the positioning around on top of it with the teleporters. Violet's not going to have the immortality field with Massa with the beat. FD God, that causes him to use one of his own, but it's too little too late. They've lost 2 players in the process of this one. Can the Shock try and edge it out? Gator so low, he will fall in the end. The Shock have just about found the advantage they were looking for. A shatter for Super, but does he choose to use it in this fashion? Just about missing that Fire Strike. Another Blizzard committed in close quarters. That's Pelican trying to even it out, and now finally the Shatter is going to get used. It's on to 1. The charge comes through, just needs to hold it and survive as the spawners come back in. The Shock want to fight this one. They're dragging this out. And this should surely mean the win for the Atlanta Reign.
They've isolated Super, but he charges back out. Violet dead, though, means no healing for the Shock, and Atlanta are going to be able to stabilize. Glister, in the midst of that prior team fight, went for a teleport into the backlines.
Wait. There's
okay. A cheeky, I like it, but not going to work. Glister went for a teleport in the middle of that previous team fight and went back.
25 seconds for the Shock. The pressure is on for them to try and find any sort of advantage. That's going to be... Okay, the sound barrier comes through. The Shadow does not connect. The positioning again swapped around. The Atlanta Rain, though, pushed back around the corner. The Blizzard is good. It's a good connection. Multiple players going to get caught up in this one, but the Atlanta Rain still have a couple of tricks up their own sleeves. There's 4 seconds remaining for them. And Super, well, he's got nowhere to run. Frozen up around the side. Pelican trying to get this pick, pushing them all away. FD got forced. Choi dropping down. Desperate to keep this overtime moving for them, but when they're missing 2 of their players, it just doesn't look likely. The Atlanta Rain have shown so much proactivity in terms of this entire map. The ability to find these advantages. Now Nero left alone on the cart. The ice block will at least keep them in it for the time being, but not for much longer. Positioning here, the Shock are just looking for that opening pick to try and at least stave a bit of that time up, but Nero goes down. What a pick, and now they're jumping on them. Kai as well, he's flipped the angle with that teleport right into the back line. It is a clean team fight win here for the Atlanta Rain. You can start to feel this momentum.
3 minutes in the time bank, the Shock really not able to take that much off. And this is where the positioning becomes, getting to the rest of his Earth Shatter just with that Fire Strike.
It's a wall, it's going to be dropping them off right around the corner. Nobody can follow up on the heels. Violet blocked away, Mass around the corner. He's going to pay for it with his life, but not before he gets the 2 picks for them. Now pushing forwards, Kai has so much to work with. Gator drops down that Earth Shatter. Too sure if he connects on too many targets. Just Nero, but enough to push them away. The Shock realize it's a lost fight. We have to back away if we want any chance.
Off. Can anyone contest? Yes. No! Choi Obin just threw his mech in the air. He went for the self-destruct, but he was the only player blocking the objective, and that's checkpoint A in almost record time going to the Rain.
That's brutal for the Shock. You're going to be looking at that one and you're thinking, oh my word, we've just invested ultimates into... Fire ended up losing it. The Atlanta Rain is one. Fire Strike, a little bit mistimed with that one. Pooped down to the low ground as well. Drops a Shadow around the corner. That's 2 players down. Soundbarrier from Massa just trailing away. And with the Blizzard falling, they eventually get that team fight win that they were looking for.
Gorgeous play from Matthew Delisi. Super lands the Shadow there under so much pressure.
Perhaps, I don't know if that was a bit of miscommunication or just a boot, but now they push him right around the corner. Choi is way out of position. Glister gets taken out by a pin. What is going on here? The Shock, they're dropping like flies.
They got sandwiched. Gator jumped down from the low ground, threw a Fire Strike, hopped back up and slammed Glister against the wall. Just smushed him.
Iris has one of his own, finally going to be using it. And now Hawk, look at this angle he's found himself upon. The high ground position, just trying to deny up as much damage that they could do. The Blizzard into the corner. It's Glister in a lot of trouble, and eventually the shield will burst. The Shock, they don't have much else to really hold on to this one. The Atlanta Rain, again, the complete control and mastery over the positioning of checkpoint B. They are steamrolling their way through.
The second is that high ground hut that they've pressured past.
Violet's off the map as well. The Shadow from Super to try and turn things around.
That's wild.
He pulls out the ult just to try and clutch it, but when you lose Violet out early, I mean, this is disastrous now for the San Francisco Shock.
I assume that Hawk used his boosters through the teleport and just timed it perfectly to catch Violet and knock him off the map. That's wild.
That's right now. The Atlanta Rain, of course, they just chuck everything into it. Super forced to hold the shield. Choi Hyobin with a 2K just from the remake. In what world is that even a possibility? Iris and Kai out of the fight. And he may have just bought again another lifeline here for the Shock. It would be so fitting that it happens on Havana just to stop that momentum.
Wait until there's players that drop down to contest.
And now he's going to use it right at the back of the side here. Ice block to try and disjoint away from this one. FD God's already gone down as well. No one's really dealing with him. Another freeze comes through. Pelican, just one quick little punch to the face will take it out now. Going to try and at least stop them here, but the Atlanta Rain have got way too much speed behind them as well. The early start of Havana here, the fact that they just got Super just trying to build up that Earth Shadow as best as he can, but it's an early immortality field that is forced out, and Choi out of the mech. It's not a great start for them, but any pick they get will be what they're looking for. And a pin round the corner, well, that's done a bit of collateral damage.
This has to be the beginning of the momentum for the Shock. This was dealt with very quickly. Similar kind of pace to what Atlanta Rain set.
Landed through. Iris ends up using this immortality field, and there wasn't really much in the way of it. What a shatter. Super drops it down. And now they're going to be trying to walk forwards, but already Pelican is taken out. Iris started to take a couple of risks. Needs to win out this fight, but has to reload. He can't quite take out Violet. A clean team fight win for the Shock. So much damage built up, and the Shock, they choose to regroup. The fast engagement coming out from the Atlanta Reign here is working out in their favor, but now we see Choi sends in the South Destruct. Massa goes down, the pin at the same time. It's simultaneous. A bit of a set play to try and crack things open, and it wins the team fight for them.
Beautiful micro disengage, and the Shock have 4 minutes in the time bank.
Swinging away at them, the immortality field is forced out early, drop down to the low ground. They're trying to force the shield out. The fadeaway fire strike, Super, he finds it. Gator's gone. Another couple of swings, and Kai's dealt with on top of it. All the damage for the Atlanta Reign is now going to be missing in this fight, and you're starting to see,
Bren,
I mean, the momentum has just shifted.
This is what people talk about when they...
So huge with this one. Freeze does force out that ice block, now the Blizzard into it, but Choi, what an eat! The ultimate's gone completely. The one tool they were hoping for that was going to change the tide of this fight. And the Shock, well, it's just another day in the office is what it feels like at the moment, but I mean, we know it's not the case. They've been pushed to the brink in this series, but right now it's 4 minutes.
It looks like he might be lining up for a self-destruct engage. Here it is.
Self-destruct comes over the top this time. Gator's trying to get a read on it. Right around the corner, the Atlanta Reign, they knew that was coming and they walk onto them. The sound barrier gives them a bit of health to work with, but the freeze comes through. Super just trying to survive, holding the shield. He will get taken out. The Atlanta Reign winning this one out ever so slightly. They've got the damage advantage, and that is going to be the team fight when they finally stop the Shock.
That's the first team fight that Atlanta have won on defense, though.
Continues, a shatter comes down, but it's going to be blocked up. That's Gator just coming up with the goods once more. Gator throws his own out. Will he be able to get anything out from it? It doesn't look likely. The Shock, no one's really dealt with Glister, and he has charged up that beam. Still coming through with it. It's a team fight win for the Shock, and this is getting... They've swapped the positionings round. The window is there. The Atlanta Reign are playing aggressive into it, though. Sound barrier as well. It supplements it. No more immortality field, and Super has fallen. Glister goes down on top of it.
That's a great recovery from the Atlanta Reign. Exactly when they needed it, too. Seems inevitable now that Atlanta are going to set a better time back. The question is simply, can the Shock finish?
Shadow drop down around the corner. That's Gator. You got one player down, and that's the Blizzard 8 up as well. With it, this could just be the Shock's hopes and dreams. They're trying to finish with a bit of time. The Shadow Super frozen. Not going to be getting anything from it. The Atlanta Reign, well, that's everything dropped down. And it's almost everything denied for the San Francisco Shock. There will not be a three-peat today. A few seconds standing between the Atlanta Reign and getting the win. Well, they upset them back in 2019, but this was anything but that. This is an Atlanta Reign that is here to play, and our two-time champions are going home.
What a victory today for the Reign. You said it, Bren. This is not an upset. Atlanta was simply the better team today. They have been, in fact, the better team all year.